some of you during our coffee talk presentations, because we've been doing this, and actually it was a brainchild of Drew's, that we find a way that we could all come together, and coffee breaks seem to be the best thing to do. And Carl is on here, and Carl is one of our mission ambassadors. And when I pulled the mission ambassadors together about this idea, Carl's the one that came up with coffee talk.
Yes.
So it has fit, it has worked for us. I thank him for that. I thank all of you for being here this morning. But for us, it's a little bittersweet, Drew, because we know that you're here because you're going to say goodbye, at least farewell. We're saying farewell, not goodbye.
Yeah, that's
But
right.
I thought it would be a great idea if you could just, be with us this morning, share any words you'd like to with everybody, gives everybody a chance to see you, because we have missed being together as a community. So
Thanks, Kathy. And I know I kicked it off, and that seemed like a long time ago. There's been so much happening. So, I just really acknowledge, that these are difficult times for all of us, and they have been for me too, and that there's been so many disruptions. This is a perfect example of disruption. More than anything, I wish I was here physically, with everybody, and that's been really difficult as I've exited out. But there's a lot of anxiety and unease that comes from the different ways in which we have to act based on the pandemic. And now we're also being asked to reckon with how we interact with each other and treat people. And that's really the message that's on the streets and on the news is that. And that's going to mean that we have to look inward. And I've certainly been having a lot of conversations with Jim Lantini about it. But I thought maybe just share a couple observations. So first, Molloy is a very special place, and I've always believed that it's a special place. And that's because we're being asked to do really God's work and to help make the world more just and compassionate. And we do that through how we educate our students, but also how we act. So right now we're being asked to take a look at that and to see how are we doing things at the college. And I think that's important. It's always good to look inward and to see how we can improve. And I think that's very much the case. So I want to just begin by thanking all of you for messages you sent me. And for those of you that were at the car parade, it was wonderful. And for those of you who weren't, I dressed up as the wizard, and they had created, well, you've probably seen images of it, a sign that was the balloon that was measured to fit around the balcony. So when we stood in the balcony, it looked like we were standing in the basket of the balloon. I have to tell you too, that Karen's brother is a balloonist. So I've been up in a hot air balloon a lot. We used to chase his balloon. He's out in California now. So it felt just right. It felt like I was in a balloon. So, there were press there. And so the press asked me, well, what's with this Wizard of Oz thing? And also they wanted to know how I felt about retirement. And so I told them, of course, that when you're from Kansas, it's mandatory that you know everything you can about the Wizard of Oz, because it's the one cultural reference that everyone knows about Kansas. So when I came, no matter where I went, people would make a reference to it and say, well, did you come in on the tornado? How's Toto? If you want to go home, you just click your shoes together 3 times. And, so it seemed kind of apt. And, Karen and I are both from Kansas. We didn't come in on a balloon. But I also thought it was, as I was there, it occurred to me that the Wizard of Oz is a really apt analogy for the college. And, I never allowed it as a theme for the barbecue until the end. I always said no. But I started thinking about how the wizard really is an apt analogy for how I've been president. Because if you understand the wizard from the film, he wasn't a wizard at all. And he had no magical properties at all. The one thing he could do is show people what they already had inside themselves and encourage them to use those gifts and talents they already had. So he did that with the Scarecrow, the Tin Man, and the Lion. And I really feel as if that's what I've done as president of the college, has really helped encourage people to use their gifts and their talents to do just amazing things, and that's what's happened. But I think right now, we need those 3 attributes a lot. So right now there are people that are in pain and they need to be understood and they need to be embraced. And so right now we're being called to show our heart. And there's a lot of big hearts at Molloy, a lot of big hearts. But we're being asked to do that both at Molloy and in the community. And we're also being asked to be reflective on how we can be better and the ways in which we treat each other. And do we exclude people? Do we treat some in ways that perhaps actually are, or at least can be interpreted as being dismissive or unkind, racist, or from a bullying perspective? And it's going to take courage to look inside. And then lastly, we're going to need to think of ways we can help improve Molloy, improve the systems at Molloy and the systems that exist around us in our communities. And that's going to take brains and our intellect. So you're going to be asked to be all three characters in The Wizard of Oz. You're going to be asked to be the Tin Man, the Scarecrow, and the Lion. But, I have no doubt that you can do those things because you've been doing them every day since I've been here. So for some of you, I've worked with you for 20 years. I know some of you were actually at the college longer than that, but I've worked with you for 20 years. And for some, it's just been a short time. But I've been able to see everything that you've done. And I'm really so excited about that. So I'm actually, I really want to make sure that I can stay in contact with everybody. So I'm going to be doing two things. So I'm going to do something I've never done before, and that's open up a social media account so that I can I need you to share your stories of what's happening, share images, tell me what's going on, and then I'll reciprocate. So I'll be launching that soon. And then I'm going to open up a separate web address. I'm still at Molloy. I'm on sabbatical. But my President Drew one is so clogged with all kinds of stuff they're sending to me thinking I'm president that I'm just going to dump that one and get another one so that it can be more as part of the community, the Molloy community. So I'll let you know that as well. But I want to hear what's going on. I want to know what's going on at Molloy. I want to know what's going on in everybody's lives. So I'll be sure to do that. In the final scene, not the final scene, but the second to final scene in the film, how many people have seen the film? Raise your hand. How many people saw it every year when it came on TV? Okay, when I was younger, that's the only way you saw it, right? So Karen would act it out and sing all the songs. I didn't really necessarily do that, but I knew most all the lines. But at the end, the wizard's going to take Dorothy home to Kansas, and he gets in the balloon, and then Toto jumps out. So Dorothy jumps out to rescue Toto, and the balloon starts to drift away, and they're saying, come back, come back. And what does he say? He says, I don't know how it works. I can't, goodbye, everybody. And then they sing Goodbye All in Harmony, right? So I'm like that wizard right now. I'm climbing into the balloon, and I'm going up into the current, and I don't know how this works. I have no idea what retirement is like. So I'm just going to let the wind carry me from one adventure to another because it's all new to me. But I need you to still be part of the grounding place for me because you are really still my rock and my community. And I'm going to need to be grounded in what's going on in your lives as well. So that'll help tether me as I get buffeted in all these winds. Of course, right now, there's not many winds because I can't go anywhere to speak of. So I won't have too many exciting adventures. I see Norman Dean's on the call and on the Zoom, and I was just thinking, we're supposed to go to Peru next year. So I don't know whether we're going to do that. We already bought a package, and we have to use it, I think, next year. So we're going to go to Peru and the Galapagos. And then we're supposed to go to Hawaii and Tahiti in October. This is our 40th wedding anniversary. So we were going to go to there. And so I don't know if we're going to end up doing that. Anyway, but I want to thank all of you. So in addition to, I'm going to send out a little last message, and in the message, there will also be a video. So click on the video, and that will be my last, I guess, way of communicating and to everyone on campus. So anyway, that's really kind of what I wanted to say. I just want to thank all of you for brightening up my day. when I would come into work, it would usually take me, I think Lisa and Anne Marie know this, it would take me about 10 minutes to get from my car to my office, even though I'm on the very first parking space, because I would end up meeting people and talking on the way in. And I really have missed all those conversations with everyone outside on campus. That's what kept me grounded and kept me in tune with what people were thinking and doing. So thank you for all those conversations we've had along the way. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Drew. I appreciate hearing from you. Gina's holding up a little note to you. We will miss you.
Thanks, Gina.
Gina's also asking for the car parade video. If that's out there and somebody could send out a link, that would be great, because some people weren't able to be with us.
I don't know where we videoed it. I don't know who has it, Kathy,
Right.
quite frankly. Anne Marie, do you know who has it?
We have it.
Okay, that's coming.
We're waiting for it to be edited.
Oh, okay, right, yeah.
You know, I didn't get a chance during the parade. This is Ozzy.
Oh, Ozzy, how great! What kind of dog is Ozzy?
He is a terrier mix.
Mhm.
What he's mixed with is a lot of energy.
Yeah, we have, my daughter has a black dog that's got some terrier in him, and poodle, he looks like Toto. He really does.
Yeah,
So
this is Ozzy.
that's Ozzy. I love the name. Yeah. I couldn't see into the car with everybody. I went on who was all in all the cars. I know some people brought, their children, and people were dressed up, and it was great. It was great.
It was really good. So so Drew, when do you stay in Rockville Center for a while, or are you heading up to Massachusetts?
So we're in Rockville Center now. We took another load of stuff to Massachusetts. That's the 4th load I've taken in a U-Haul. Decluttering the house. So they're actually coming Monday to take photos of the house. We couldn't do that. If we'd already had those done inside, then it could have been listed virtually, but we hadn't done that before. They weren't allowed to do that. So we're going to put the house on the market in probably 10 days or so. And then once we're going to go back up to the farm probably about, I don't know, the 21st, 22nd, something like that. And then we'll probably be up there until we have to come back and pack up the house. So we're on our way. And the funny thing is that we were up there for 8 weeks unintentionally when we took a load up, and then everything happened and the college was all closed. So it didn't seem to make sense to come back. And everyone told us that, it's hard to get food and everything else. And then in Massachusetts, if we wanted to have groceries delivered, we called, and within 2 hours they would deliver them. So, so we decided to stay up there. So it already feels a little bit like we're not here anymore because of that, but that's the plan.
Okay, great. Drew, there are some chats for you, just some well wishes. So I just want to make sure that you see them.
Oh, thank you, everyone.
I want to make sure that
Thanks,
you're aware that
Joanne.
people have been writing little notes to you and Karen. So this is our chance to do that, to say goodbye, because in a different life, in a different world, we will have the hugs and kisses. But
I know, I miss that.
Right. And I have shared this with others, but I had an aunt. She was a sister of St. Joseph, and since I was a member of a big family, she would poke her head in the car, look at all the children, and say, "Okay, everybody, consider yourself hugged." So from all of us, Drew, we want you to consider yourself hugged, and you and Karen, we wish you a wonderful summer. We know we will see you. It's only, as I said, it's farewell. It's not goodbye.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm just looking at it kind of as a summer, like it's summer, and usually, most of us are gone on and off. So I won't feel it so much right now, but when the academic semester begins, I'm going to have this huge void that will, from what I understand, for those who have been retired and come back. I see Joanne nodding, because Joanne O'Brien was that way, maybe not very long, actually, or not at all. But anyway, yeah, I'm going to feel that way.
It's either a void or it's a happy dance.
Well, it'll be both, actually. I've learned that it's usually not either or in life. You hold both things at the same time, so.
Well, I believe it or not, it's 10:55. This is our coffee break. This is our time together. This is our time to say goodbye to Drew. So farewell, Drew.
Thank you.
Bye, Drew.
on your journey. And everybody, I will.
Farewell.
Thank you, everyone.
We'll
Thanks.
miss you.
Bye
Don't
bye,
be a stranger.
everybody. Take
I
care.
won't.
Enjoy
I'll let
every
you know how to get a
minute.
hold of me, okay?
Okay.
Enjoy it. We
Bye,
want to
guys.
see that ponytail grow.
Oh, you will. Not there yet. I think I got a couple more weeks.
Have a great day, everybody, and I'll
All right,
see you on
bye-bye.
Friday if you're available.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.